Are we on? Is this it? Hello? Action? Hi. Welcome. Welcome you to week. I don't know. I don't know what week it is. Week 4? Is it week 4? Friends? Let's find out. Let's see. Today is, oh my God. It's week 5. It's week 5. Welcome to week 5. How exciting. Is that not exciting? That's exciting. So I hope you had a nice weekend. It's Monday. You were supposed to have finished your outline. Okay. This week right now, let's see. Screen 2. This week we are going over drafting your essay from the outline. Okay. And punctuating quotes. Okay. So the goal for today is, for this week is to write a draft of your essay, a whole draft, not a rough draft. Rough drafts rough drafts has become synonymous with this idea of just doing very basic work. Sometimes I think of rough drafts as crap drafts. Instead, you should think of it as draft one. Draft one. If you only had one draft that you could turn in, this would be it. Okay. And when you think of it that way, that puts much more emphasis on actually doing something of quality rather than rough draft. I think has this idea that like, oh, this is just my first go at it, whatever. It's not the final product. And it opens itself up to being of lesser quality. And that's what I don't want you to think. Okay. You should be looking at this process that we're going to go over today as the process of writing your first draft, which is the best draft that you're capable of producing first time around. Okay. Okay. So here we go. For this, I want you to use your outline. If you did not complete the outline assignment, then you need to do that before going into trying to write your draft. There's probably going to be students out there who are like, I don't need to do an outline. I'm so good at writing. And then you write this essay and you get a low grade. And it turns out the real reason why you didn't write the outline wasn't because you thought you were too good for it, but it's because you were just too lazy to. And I can speak to that because that's how I was. My first couple of essays in college were low quality because I thought that my ideas could get me through it. And I thought going through the process was lame until I realized that my grades were not where I wanted them to be. And then when I actually started going through the process, the correct process that I teach y'all, this process of collecting your ideas, organizing your ideas, putting them in this outline, and then converting the outline to a first draft, and then working on the mechanics of that draft. That was when I really solidified, like, as a writer. Okay. So, with this step, what we're going to do is we are going to essentially take the outline and transition it into paragraphs. Okay. We're not going to totally focus yet on the mechanics, the grammar, all that kind of stuff. The goal in this step is to just get our paragraphs structured. Okay. Now, the great thing with the outline is that it allows us to be able to attack the essay in a non-linear way. Okay. When you write an essay without first creating an outline, then you have to actually write that essay from beginning to end. You sit down and you're writing the introduction and the body paragraphs. Okay. But sometimes it's I mean, I'm sorry. It's always better to have an outline because you don't want to have to force yourself to write in that kind of way. Sometimes you might want to write from the beginning to end, but other times, though, you might want to attack certain paragraphs out of order, which is great about the outline. Having the outline frees us from having to conceptualize the essay in a linear fashion the whole way through, because we've already established that. We know now that, like, instead of having to hold in your head what every paragraph is about, we have it on paper. So now we're able to focus on just one paragraph at a time. It's kind of like juggling balls, okay? It's very difficult to juggle 3, 4 at the same time. But then once you're able to not have to juggle anything other than one ball, it's very easy to just focus on that one ball, tossing it up and catching it, tossing it up and catching it without having to do multiple. And so getting all of our ideas out on paper allows us to put down all of those balls and only focus on one. Okay. So here's your outline. Okay. Um, Now, what I want to challenge you to do this week, hopefully you're watching this lecture on Monday and not watching it on Sunday. And if you're watching it on Monday, then you are going to um, give yourself enough time to work on one paragraph per day. I really, really push this idea that, like, you should start your essays much sooner than when they're due, and then allow yourself time to write a chunk of that essay each day. Okay. The essays, when people wait to the day before to write their essay, or maybe just even like the Saturday before it's due, and they try to write the entire essay in one sitting, what's going to happen is that you're going to have an essay that is unbalanced. The first part of the essay is going to be really good, and then as you start to get mentally exhausted from writing, then the quality is going to go down. Okay. Um, People don't always realize that your brain burns so many calories when it's in deep thought. Okay. Which is why oftentimes after a long day of studying and at school and working, you are exhausted. And you might be like, why am I so exhausted when, like, I didn't I didn't do anything all day other than sit in a desk and work on stuff. I listened, I took notes, I did work, I read, but all that takes a lot of energy. Um, and um, and so you get depleted. Like, I mean, I know this. My third period AP class is way different than my seventh period AP class. They're both AP students, but by seventh period, the kids are just totally depleted, just totally depleted. Okay, psychologically. And third period is kind of they're at their, like, prime level, because first, second period is too early, sixth and seventh period is too late, third period, that third, fourth, fifth time is like the prime time. Okay. So in terms of your essay, okay, what you want to do is you want to be able to provide maximum effort for every paragraph. You want, like, that top, like, 10% of your brain, that 100 to 90% of your brain power for every paragraph. Okay. And so if you work on one paragraph a day, then you can apply 100% to 90% of your brain power per paragraph. Versus if you do it throughout the day, if you do try to do all of them, the first couple of paragraphs might have your 10 to 90%, and then it's just going to go down to 70%, 60%, and then the latter part of your essay, you're gonna be working with like 50% of your capacity, and it's going to start showing. So I mean, the same thing was kind of like, some people were like, "Oh my God, I could never run a half a marathon, okay, 13 miles in one day," but they could easily run that throughout the week, they ran just 3 miles a day, 3 miles a day, 3 miles a day. When we break things up, we have, and plus also like my 5K speed is a lot faster than my 15K speed, obviously, because I can put more effort into a shorter distance than I can over a longer distance. So that's the same thing with writing. You can put a lot more into a smaller amount per day than you can trying to do the whole thing, all of it at once. Okay. And so I find that the biggest problem with young writers, with teenagers and college students, and even adults who are going back to college, is that they don't give themselves time to accomplish the essay. They try to churn too much out at one time, and they get overwhelmed. And the quality dramatically goes down. Okay. So please try to do one paragraph a day. And it doesn't, and the great thing about the outline is that you can do whatever paragraph you want to do. Okay. Like I hate doing beginning with the introduction. So sometimes I just do not want to do the introduction first. Okay. So let's say I want to do the second paragraph first. Okay. What I'm gonna do is in my outline is what I'm gonna start writing. Okay. Now, remember, there are 3 parts to a paragraph, as I've discussed before. There is the claim, the support, and the analysis. The claim is your main idea, your main sentence. Okay. So here I'm trying to explain existentialism. Okay. All right. So I might begin with something like, now also with your outline, when you convert your outline to your essay, it's really all about getting out all of your information in an understandable, logical way. Okay. I wouldn't necessarily worry about in the first draft trying to sound interesting or trying to have a unique voice or trying to have attention grabbers or anything like that. Okay. Because again, that's a different part of your brain. What I'm trying to get you to do is to follow steps that allow you to access one part of your brain at a time. Okay. So like for this one, what we're doing here is that we already have our main ideas, and now we're trying to create the complete statements. We're trying to apply our knowledge of grammar and syntax and the English language to then structure our ideas into complete sentences. Okay. Thinking about like what's entertaining, what tension grabber, how to dress it up. That's like a totally different part of your brain. Okay. So like this right here is the outline is your foundation. Okay. And now we're building the walls. We're building the walls. And we want to get the walls constructed, and we want to get the roof constructed and all that stuff constructed before we think about like how we're going to like paint it, colors, decorate it, all that kind of stuff. All right. So we're really just focusing on converting our essentially bullet points of our outline into complete sentences. Okay. So something like existentialism is the school of thought that deals with finding meaning in everyday life. There are many people who have a religious belief that guides them. Something like Christianity or Buddha, Buddhism. How do you spell that? I don't know. Buddhism. Oh, there it is. Okay. But existentialism, disregards religion, at least in the notion that that a deity uh, interacts directly into our lives. Okay. All right, cool. Now, all right, so I have my first couple of sentences. Now I want to start I want to start integrating into a quote, okay? So this is my quote I have, which is actually a paraphrase. This one is a paraphrase from Sartre's book, Being in Nothingness. It's a huge book, okay? And this is more like from a paraphrase of, and I have the book. Let's see. Uh, I have the book here. Let's see, where is it? Okay, well, I had it up. Let's see, here it is. Um, Here it is. And my paraphrase is from Being for Itself, okay? And chapter 1, part 2, which is around 79, okay? So I'm paraphrasing the 79 through 84 section, okay? So in my outline here, okay, even though this is a paraphrase, I don't need quotation marks, but I still would need to indicate like who I'm paraphrasing and what section I'm paraphrasing this from in this book. Okay. All right. So I have this, there's being and being, lowercase b and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now I'm gonna start integrating this part. One of the leading existentialist, one of the leading existentialist philosopher, Jean-Paul Sartre, um, discusses in his book Being and Nothingness. Okay, so notice this is a book. Books are in italics. This is not an article. This is a book. It's in italics. It's not underlined. It's not in quotation marks. It is in italics. All right. Now, there is a difference between, and then I will use a quotation mark here because he does use these words, being and being. And again, I'm going to do, and if I go to the pages, if I went back to my pages, all right, and then I would find that like those occur on page 79. All right, so but actually I might say that for the more in that and then so this is my paraphrase. I can use this because I wrote that and it's not super long, which is great. Okay. So I'm gonna put that here, but I don't want this. So I'm typing my paragraph in my actual outline. All right. I'm typing all my paragraphs in my outline. Um, all right. And that lowercase being is merely going through the motions of life. And then instead of that, I might do a parenthetical citation. No, I'll do a such as eating, sleeping, working, and living past sleep. Okay. While capital B being is choosing how you will live, choosing how your life will go, and actively living your life. Okay. Okay. So me personally, Mr. Byers, if I was writing this, I would add some more and make it a little bit longer. Okay. But I'm just gonna kind of move on a little bit just to kind of show you kind of like how you are formatting this thing. Okay. So I wrote this paragraph. I'm going to then go down to this next paragraph. All right. And here I'm gonna write my paragraph. I'm gonna write about the story of an hour. And I'm gonna use this quote, but I'm not gonna use all this quote because this quote is like way too big. Okay. So again, I begin with my claim. All right. And I will say something like, okay, Kate Chopin's short story of an hour, tackles the issue of being the issue of Sartre's being versus being philosophy through the character of Mrs. Mallard. That's her name. Doesn't really matter. You didn't read the story. Okay. Um, and so that's my claim. Oh, there we go. This is my claim. All right. Um, so so she had been living a life of simply being for her husband because it was a time in which women had very little opportunity outside of the home to have any type of life. Okay. But her moment of possible uh, being came through the tragic news of her husband's death in an alleged train wreck. While at first saddened by this news, by this development, Miss Mallard soon becomes enraptured by her grief until it develops into the realization that that she wouldn't have to live for anyone else other than herself. And this filled her with the true ecstasy of life, that Chopin, the author, that Chopin symbolizes through Miss Mallard's unexpected orgasm. All right, so now I'm gonna lead into this passage right here. I'm not gonna use this entire quote because it's too long, okay? All right. I think I'm just gonna use this part right here, okay? Her cries of sorrow became wails of empowerment as, and now I'm going to do the quotation mark, as she said, ... over and over under the breath, free, 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 Chopin. Free. Okay. So some things I want to point out here. I led into this quote. Her cries of sorrow, I don't need this comma here, became wails of empowerment as she said. Now, I have this ellipses here. If you notice right here, this ellipses, that's because in this quote right here says she said it over and over under her breath. I don't want to use it. I just want to say that she said over and over and over again. So I took it out. So this ellipses shows that something was there, even if it was as, small as just one word. Okay. But technically it would be wrong if I didn't have that ellipses there. And it would sound weird if I had the word it there. Okay. So because we don't know what it is. So I took it out. And then over and over. Okay, so then I have here. See, I have a singular quotation mark. That's because this is a quote within a quote. Oops. Because see right here, we have in the story, we have a quote, free, free, free. But I have but I already have, I'm quoting, my quote begins right here. So if you're going to have a quote within a quote, then that inner quote has to be using singular quotation marks. She said over and over under the breath, free, free, free. So I have singular quotation mark, and then here I have a singular quotation mark, and then the double quotation marks. So there's 3 on the end. Okay. Now look, this there's an exclamation point here, end of a sentence. I'm not including that here because my sentence is not over. I have all of this. I have to put my citation and my page number. Oh, but I don't need to put Chopin actually, because look, Chopin's right here. Okay. So I don't need that. Now, if this was a website, this is a website, then, and there was no page numbers, then I wouldn't need this page numbers here. And then in that case, I could put the exclamation point right here, because I end this sentence with punctuation, and the sentence ends with exclamation point like this, then that's fine. That leaves the emphasis of the exclamation point inside of this quote. But if I am including a parenthetical citation and I put the exclamation point, it looks like I am putting the exclamation point, as if my whole sentence is that, which is not. So in that case, I put a period. Okay. All right. So I have integrated my quotes. Oops. Husband's death. Okay. I have my Kate Chopin's short story, Serving Now tackles the issue of starts being versus being philosophy through the character of Miss Mallard, blah, 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 blah. I have my quote here. All right, but now I would have to explain it. I cannot just leave it there. All right. I would need to go in here about how, all right, that all her life she had been the subject. Oh no, she had been the object of someone else's story, whether that was her family's, okay, her family's story or her husband's story. But now that he is dead, she gets to inherit his wealth and live her and become the subject of her own story. Hence the title, The Story of an Hour. Okay. The idea of living for herself and not having to please other people is the greatest sensation that she or any person can feel, which is why Chopin uses orgasmic imagery to convey pleasure of actively being. Okay, something like that. All right, you analyzed it, talk about why it's important, you know, how it relates to existentialism or your philosophy or whatever. You've integrated a quote, boom, good. All right. So you do that over again. Then you do it here in this paragraph. Same thing, same process. Claim, support, analysis. Have your claim where you turn this into a complete sentence. You work it into shortening the quote and getting out one little part of it. All right. And then fully explaining it. All right. That's what you do. The conclusion is a recap. All right. A, restate your thesis. And then find a new way of referencing your short story. Restate your thesis. Re-mention the short story. End with the personal connection. All right. The conclusion, this is the inverse of the introduction. All right. So when you are done with your paragraphs, okay, you're done with your paragraphs, all right? So I'm just going to imagine that this paragraph I wrote my intro here. Okay. I know it's the same paragraph, but we're imagining that this is the intro paragraph. All right. And then I wrote a paragraph for part 4. All right. That paragraph oops. I wrote here. Let's just imagine. Okay. And then I wrote the conclusion. Okay. All right. So let's say I have my finished outline. I'm sorry. I have my outline is done. Yes, but I've written a paragraph for every part. Okay. So my paragraphs are in my outline. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this process of deleting. I'm going to take this document right here. I'm going to do save as, and I'm not doing the outline. No. It's 1102 philosophy and lit draft. I'm going to save it as draft. Save. Okay. Then I'm going to take this. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go down here. I'm not deleting the citation. I'm going to delete this part of the outline. I'm going to take my citation. That should be on your outline. I want to copy it. Copy. Then I'll delete it. And then I'm going to go down to the bottom. I'm going to put works cited. And I'm going to paste it. Then I'm going to go up here. I'm going to delete this part of the outline. All right, I'm going to take my citation, copy it, go down here, paste it. I'll format it in a moment. Go back up here. Delete. Pull this up. There we go. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to same thing with this. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to copy this third and final citation. Bring it down here. Paste it. Go up here. Let's see. Delete this. There we go. Okay. So maybe I'll fix whatever I need to fix. Format this sucker up. Like this right here is over too much for whatever reason. I don't know why that's there. I need to pull this. I need to, let's see. There we go. We're going to do that. We're going to select all. Check the formatting. This should be 0, 0, double. Okay. We're going to make sure this is all Times New Roman. We're going to make sure this is all 12-point font. Okay. If you select all and this is blank, that means it's inaccurate. There's inconsistencies. You want it all the same. So same thing here. All right. Now it's not blank. That means that all of this is 0, 0. All of this is double the whole way through. Okay. I'm going to give it a title. Just say Understanding Women. Okay. My due date is the 12th. So I'm going to change this to the 12th. Okay. I'm going to go down here. My works cited page needs to be on its own page. It needs to look like this. Okay. All right. And then I need to organize this. Works cited page needs to go in order, alphabetical order. So, which you should know this because you ought to take that. You get to do that works cited. that MLA quiz. So you should know that. Pull this here. I need to indent these second lines. So I do that by clicking up here and hitting tab. Okay, so now my works cited page is correct. BCS. All right, great. Okay. So this is what I'm going to be looking for with your first draft. Your first draft should look like a finished essay. Should look like a finished essay. All right. You have your works cited. That should be pretty much in order and accurate. It shouldn't just be like blobbed in there. Okay. Because the next week, what you should be working on is once we have this done, we should be working on the language. Does it make sense? All right. Is the punctuation correct? Is the grammar correct? All right. Do you have enough words? Like right now, this is only 748 words. I believe, let's see. Um, I need to look to see what word limits I gave y'all. If I did. I will go back and I mean it should be at least minimum. I'll see if I it should be at least 1,000 words. Okay. So minimum 1,000 words. So I would need to add some to this because this is only 750 words. Okay. But when you turn this in, this first draft, it should look like an essay. Okay. Because what I want you to do, what I want everyone to do is after you submit this draft, I would love it. And I love it. I mean, like you really, every single person should do this. You need to go to our page. Let's see. Here it is. Okay. So you should go to here where it says tutoring and EasyBib. Click on that. Free writing tutor. I want everyone to oh no. Huh? We got to figure that one out. I want you to be able to go to the writing lab and to get an appointment and have them read through your essay with you. They are great. Listen, I I learned I really learned grammar and syntax and correct writing by going through the learning center. Okay. Every college has a writing lab. Your tuition pays for it. If you're dual enrollment, then the state tuition paid for it. And it's free for you. The people who work there are getting paid, and they are free editors and tutors. And so they will read over your work and help you and fix, help you understand what needs to be fixed. They don't fix the grammar for you. They will explain it to you, and then you can go in and make all of the adjustments. All right. But that's what you need to do. You need to, and if this form this link says unavailable, don't wait for me to fix it because I don't know why, but you should call and make an appointment with the Learning Center. Okay. You can go onto the Gornet Tech website and pull up the Learning Support Center and call them, make an appointment. You should get up there and work with them on your essay. Okay. Week 2 should not be, I mean, as in the next week after this draft is done, that should not be the week that you're really trying to work on like your ideas. You should have all your ideas out. Now, like adding more is different. Adding some more words, you already have your 3 parts. You have your claim, you have your support, like especially this paragraph. Okay, let's see here. Hold on. I think I used the wrong paragraph to make my points. I think every paragraph should be about the size of this paragraph, at least your body paragraphs. I think that is fine size for introduction, and that size is fine for a conclusion. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. And that puts you right at almost at 990. Okay. So your essay should be about this long right here. Okay. If you turned in an essay that was that's 3 full pages like this, and your worksite page is right here, then like that's pretty much what I'm looking for. 3 full pages, not 3.5, not 2, and then a little bit of a third one, but like 3 full pages, you're good. I'm going to, so I think I saved this as a draft. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to post this for you. Okay. To kind of give you an idea of how it should look. Again, like this is the content is the only paragraph here that's like fully done that like I'd be happy for you if you did is just this Kate Chopin one. All right. I'm posting this mostly so you can see the length. Like this paragraph still needs a analysis added to it. This is just the claim and the support. This paragraph is claim, support, and analysis. All right. So this is about the length of each body paragraph that you should be aiming for, which is about 240 words. Okay. All right. So when you turn in the draft, when you turn in your draft of your essay, okay, which is a requirement, I'm going to be, let's see here, lessons, week 5. Oh, did I not put that in there? Week 6. Okay. Well, I'm going to put the draft box for week 5. All right. When you put your draft here, I'm going to be giving you credit based on how it looks. And the reason why it's a grade is just because it holds you accountable and makes sure that you do it. All right. All I'm doing is looking to see that it is formatted correctly and that it's long enough and it has a works cited page. So that way during next week, you can really focus on just editing it, not having to create more. You're just editing it. Okay. So you have a week to turn your outline into 5 paragraphs. Let me know if you have any questions. Bell just rang. I gotta go. All right, y'all. Take it easy. Hasta la vista, baby.